This interview is brought to you by APB, Broadcast Asia 2017 and Ideal Systems.
Well, I travel quite a bit, and my colleagues as well are traveling quite a bit around the world. And what we're seeing here is not much different than what's happening into major cities around the world, where people are really looking into doing transition to IP. And the main reason for that is people want to use COTS equipment, commercial off-the-shelf equipment, and stop buying dedicated pieces of hardware for their industry. It will make even more sense in 4K because 4K requires a whole lot more bandwidth. And right now, SDI equipment in 4K doesn't really make a lot of sense. First, there's no router outside right now that are available with crosspoint, redundant crosspoint. Their routers are much smaller than the regular routers, so that's the first problem we're going to face, or broadcasters are going to face if they're trying to do 4K SDI. And the second one is also there's a lot of SDI that are using quad links. Quad links it reminds me when I've seen a TV station trying to do that TV station in RGB with 3 wires. It was a nightmare. So I can't see how it could happen with the quad links as well. So moving into IP makes a whole lot more sense. Right now there are different solutions like with the T-Core VC2, or if you want to compress it. But most people that we've been talking to, they really want to do production uncompressed. So we believe that it's going to be with 25 gig switches and 100 gig core switches as well. So, and this is happening here in the major cities. We're looking at what they're doing in Singapore, what people are doing in Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong. That's what people are looking at right now. Well, among the key factors, there is obviously going to be latency. There will be degradation of signals. Well, there's twofold. There's obviously the distribution portion of it, where playouts for the playout, and there's also production. In playout, it's not as important, but obviously in production, you want to have the least latency as possible and a better signal as possible, the best signals as possible. And you're going into multiple passes of processing when you're doing production. Encoding and decoding using VC2, T-Core, J2K might eventually introduce some delays that will become unmanageable, as well as some quality degradation in the signal. We believe, and not only us, but people we've been talking to, that going full bandwidth for production at 12G will be the way to go, for sure.
This copyrighted video of the broadcast IP Interop Lab may not be reproduced or redistributed in any form without the expressed written consent of EdTech International Private Limited.